So I said, I'm actually going to take the brakes off and I'm going to just allow things to come in. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Roaming Collective podcast. I'm Tricia Ty. I'm your host and I'm the founder of the Roaming Collective. I also am a certified human design reader and an intuitive. So today I feel like I had to run and get on the mic because I had an idea for a topic and then a scenario happened, which I was like, I feel so lit up that I think I need to share this with everyone because I think everyone's meant to hear this message right now. So I really try to make sure everything that I'm expressing is something that is beneficial for you and for it to feel like we're here in a gathering. And we're also here to actually take things that you can implement in your daily life, tips and tools that you can use, because I actually want to give things that are helpful for you. So this has been a little bit of a journey with this topic today, and all we are going to talk about is how to receive, because this has been something that I think I've been trying to almost figure out for the past few months. I think I was trying to really get a lot of clarity around abundance and like trying to figure out, is this the right way to do it? Is this not the right way? And it all just kind of started to merge. Like I've had so many different little signs and synchronicities, which you guys know I live for one. I'm obsessed with the sign or synchronicity. So if you need to go back, you can listen to episode 5 where I talk a lot about some of the big major signs that have happened and how to look out for those in your own life. And so we'll touch on a little bit of that again today, but it'll all be around more of the lens of receiving. This was a couple weeks ago. I was feeling very fearful. I was in that state of a lot of like fear around money. When you're an entrepreneur and you take that jump, there can still be a lot of limiting beliefs or just a lot of like uncertainty that is still at play, because when you're leaning into your business, it's new and it's unfamiliar. And sometimes the financials don't immediately line up with what you expect it to. And so within that, it leaves a lot of room for fear, for overthinking, for wondering, how am I going to do this? And so I was having one of those moments a couple weeks ago. And in that morning, I am a spiritual girly, so I was like asking my angels and guides. I was like, hey, I really need a sign. I'm like, I think I'm just trying so hard to grip and to just try to solve and figure it out. Like if I'm in a scarcity mindset, am I in an abundance mindset? And it was just like gripping and holding on to it too hard. So I said, I'm actually going to take the brakes off and I'm going to just allow things to come in. And so that morning I was going for a walk and I talked about my little cosmic library in the first episode when I was living in Chicago. And so I didn't really have one here in Austin yet. I haven't found a place that felt like I was one specific area where I was getting so many signs. I feel like they've just been kind of all over. And I was going for a walk and I passed this little library a lot. And I saw this one and I was like, for some reason within me, I was like, I think I need to open it. And so within there's 2 books, which I have here on video. And the first one that I saw was called The Desire Factor. And so it's all about how to embrace your materialistic nature and then reclaim your full spiritual power. So a lot of like understanding abundance in that frame. And then this was another one, which was called The Art of Attracting Clients. And so this was another book that came up. I grabbed both those books. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take these home and like dig a little bit deeper into these. I just felt like I needed to have them. Like they just felt like a sign for me in that moment. I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Like this was maybe some of the answers that I was searching for. And so I run home and I open up the books, and one of the books that I got, which was The Art of Attracting Clients, I open it up and I'm starting to look at it, and then this piece of paper falls out. And I was like, that's a little weird. Like, what is this? Like, oh my gosh, like I love to find little things from like other people just to see. And oh, my cat is going to come into frame because she also wants to look at this too. And it was a book report from this girl named Mimi, and she wrote this on September 17th, 2019. Flashback to 2019. That is when I was sitting in my corporate job in Chicago working in PR. What is so funny is how crazy that this book that felt like a sign, and this book report, which I'll explain here in a second, felt like also such a sign for me, that this child had no idea that they're just writing their normal book report, and then their parent, who probably decided to part ways with this book and didn't even realize this was in there, that this would become a sign for me almost 7 years later. Like, that is so wild. You can't manufacture that. Like, that is not stuff that you can just make up and get things out of thin air. The fact that I was sitting in a Chicago corporate PR job, I had no idea on this date, September 17th, 2019, that in 2026, I would be getting this book and this would be representing a date from the past of something that I actually needed now in the future, 7 years later. And so the title of the book was The Courage of Sarah Noble. And so I actually decided to research that book. I was like, I think there's a sign in there too for my guides that are trying to lead me to it. And so I looked within that book, and that book is all about this girl. It's like back in the pilgrimage age, and her dad leave their family to go to a new place to start setting roots there. And so she leaves her home, she leaves everything she knows, and she goes. And then once they get to the spot in the woods, her dad tells her, I need to go back. I need to go get the family. So she was the one who had to stay back. And I don't really know why they were having a child stay back, but anyway, I didn't fully read the story, but she had to stay, and she had to really make do. So she had to be within this woods. She had to stay out of uncertainty, stay with her courage, stay in a place that she felt unknown and scary, and she had to build up their house and to really start building out their community there. And within the story too, there's another family that she meets who actually is able to kind of help her a little bit more. And so I felt like what that story really represented for me was, again, I was starting to doubt myself, where I was like, which there are times which I knew leaving corporate was the right choice for me. I know that within my bones and that deep in my soul. I know my intuition was always guiding me, but there's always those sneaky limiting beliefs. And then sometimes when our external reality isn't necessarily matching what we thought would be happening, I was really getting into that mind frame again of doubt. And I was like, was this the right choice for me? Is this my purpose? Should I not have done this? Was this actually like the right decision? And I felt like getting these books were almost like my guides and my angels, like giving me the sign of like, you can do this. Remember, here's like a little bit of help to get you on the right track. And just seeing that old book report from that story, I felt like I resonated with her. Like, this girl, Sarah Noble, is alone in the woods. Like, I feel like alone. I'm just like trying to navigate building this business. I don't really have the full framework for it, right? Like, I'm laying the foundation down for all of this. And it just felt like such a reminder to keep going, because the whole reason for why I am building this business is to help people, is to be there for people, because there were so many moments where I felt so off track. Like, I cannot even express to you guys how much it was so hard sometimes. Like, so many tears, so many just long nights, so much doubt, so much anxiety, and it was all compiled in. And there was a lot that I went through on my journey and things that I learned. And so I was like, there's so many ways that I could be able to help people and to really expand their life viewpoint, and especially going through life transitions, because life transitions are so hard. They can be a challenge. They can be scary. They can feel just so abrupt, and sometimes it can feel like the rug's getting pulled out under from you. And so that can be a very vulnerable time. And that is why I want to have the Roaming Collective be a community space where if you are needing more of those in-person gatherings, they are there for you, because friendship is so important right now, you guys. In-person connection is huge. We are craving that. We are in a loneliness epidemic. A lot of people are feeling alone. We're just feeling a loss of connection. And when we feel so separate, we forget that we're actually, when we're together, we're stronger. And there's so much benefit of being around people. And so I want to be able to build that connection that you can have with people. And then also on the individual side, which is why I have the human design readings, so we can navigate more of that lens together, so you can have more of your own sort of map and figure out your next purpose and your next path, and like, what is to one step that you can take, and just to be able to have that be able to flow and feel more in alignment instead of like trying to force and push, because I was doing that for such a long time. I don't even know how much energy I wasted on all of it, but at least it got me to where I am here now. And also this podcast too, I want this to also be a space for you to also get a little bit of taste of what the Roaming Collective is like. Hear more of like any downloads or any topics or anything that I just feel so called to share, and to have guests on who also have a similar mindset. Just another place for you to also implement all this stuff too, right? So, and again, if any of this stuff resonates, take it. And if you're like, this doesn't really feel like it's working for me, then you don't have to take it. You can just leave it. You can just be like, this doesn't resonate with me. I'm not gonna understand this idea. That's totally fine. I'm just giving you all the different framework, all the different modalities, all the different tools, all the different sort of things that I've incorporated that I feel like was very helpful for me, so that way you can take that and figure out what pieces you want to take in your life. This is not a place to be like an end all be all. This is just a place to help foster more of that. That really reminded me of the purpose of everything. And it's got me thinking too, because I've also been very much in a mindset of being a little bit scared to receive and how receiving looks, because receiving was very different for me in the past. And I think as women and just people in general, especially women, we are taught to stay small. It's like, don't make anything abrupt, just keep it easy, keep it nice, just like don't disrupt people. And I think sometimes a lot of that was within my hard wiring, and I've been really trying to relearn some of that and just let go of things that are no longer helpful for me. It's allowing this receiving to come in. And so this is a great example that literally just happened to me, and this is why I had to run over here, because I was like, I need to get this on recording, because I just feel like it's gonna be so helpful for everyone. So this sounds so simple, but yet everything made sense to me in this moment. So I was at the grocery store and I'm leaving outside and I am pushing my cart to take it back to my car. And I'm in the parking lot, and all of a sudden my wheel on the grocery cart just like gives out, just does not want to move. And I'm like trying to push this cart and I can't move it, which again, kind of like an analogy, right? I'm trying to force it, I'm trying to push, and I'm like, it is not moving. And so I'm like trying to figure out what to do. I'm like trying to lift it. I'm trying to like maneuver it over, because I'm like halfway between my car and then halfway in between where like all the carts go. And so I'm standing there and I'm like, oh shoot. And so I'm like trying to figure it out. And this guy comes out of his car and he was so sweet. And he comes over to me. He's like, hey, do you need help? And it was just a split second. And I was like, yes, I do need help, and allow yourself to receive this help in this moment. And so this man was so sweet. He came over and he picked up the front of the cart from me. We both pushed it in together. And it all clicked right after that, where I was like, in the past, I don't think I would have accepted that help. I would have been like, no, I'm fine. I got it. I'm like, don't ruffle any feathers. Like, just struggle through it. Just like keep pushing the cart. You're fine. You're okay. And I was like, no, I actually do need help, because I had some heavy things in the cart and I actually needed to help to get it over there. And so I allowed myself to receive the help. And also, I remembered people actually love to help. Like, people feel good. Again, that giving and that receiving, where people actually do feel good to be able to help you. Like, that also is another reminder where people are like willing to do that. And it's like, allow them to come in and help. And so this was such a simple analogy, or just a simple metaphor that really clicked for me, where I was like, yes, it can actually be that simple, where you don't always have to be trying to force and trying to toughen through it and try to be independent and try to like I'm just going to keep going and keep white knuckling it and it'll just get figured out. And in some instances that can be helpful in certain regards, right? But for me, I think I've fallen a little bit too much into the independence lane. And I think it's just sometimes how some factors have lined up for me. Now I'm really trying to allow more of that like space for things, because if I didn't allow that help, maybe it almost kind of would have proved to my mind in some way that I don't need that help and I can just keep pushing through. But something that was just so simple was something that I think is going to create ripples in my own life. So even though this was such a simple analogy, start allowing these things to come in just such easy ways. And I think that the universe always gives you what you need in that exact moment that you need it. And I was extremely lucky, because that man happened to get out of his car as soon as that cart just stopped moving. And so I was like not able to push it anymore. And so it was like literally synchronistic timing that man was right there to be able to help. And so this is just good examples to help train your mind and to train your body that you're allowed to receive help. It can be something as simple as you're at the grocery store and someone holds the door open for you and you're able to say thank you, and then you walk through. It's just like letting these things come in, and it's also a giving and receiving. So in order to also receive, sometimes we do need to give. So it doesn't always have to be money, or it doesn't always have to be gifts. You could also give the gift of your time, your generosity, your thoughtfulness, your words, your kindness. Like, there's so much that we are able to give. And I think when you're in a community space like that, it just feels so much more, like you feel so much more full and satisfied, because you're able to really work together with people, and people are excited to help you, and then you're also excited to help them. And I think that just causes like more of an effect of that. And so when you're in a community space where you're able to do that, just start looking for ways where you can help out. And you guys can be so small. If you're out walking somewhere and you see someone and you actually really like their outfit, tell them. If you're out somewhere and you see someone struggling with something and you're able to like lift it up and help them, do that. Like, there's so many ways that we're able to offer that for people, and it doesn't have to be such a over the top grand gesture at times. Sometimes these little small things can actually help someone's day, make it so much brighter. And this was just such a good lesson overall for abundance, because abundance was something that I was really trying to solve. I was trying to go back into my mental, and in human design, I also do have a very open mind. And so my centers are not defined. And so what that means is I have very open capacity where I'm able to really bring in different ideas, some people's different analytical thinking, and also my own. But sometimes it can get very in the shadow side. And sometimes I can lean into that conditioning where I get very much like trying to solve it. And I just want to grip onto it. And I'm like, I want to figure this out. And sometimes the answer is just letting it go. Just letting it flow. You don't have to always understand or to know it. It's just like letting it be. Abundance to me can be abundance in so many different ways. It just feels like there's enough. There's always enough. There's more than enough for people. We're not running out of time. We're not running out of resources. We're not running out of opportunities. There is more than enough out there for you and for every single person on this earth. Everyone has so much. And guess what? The universe isn't on a budget. The universe isn't on a budget trying to understand, like, how do I calculate all this? How do I have all this? And when you get into more of that mindset and more of that mind frame, and then everything just feels so much more expanded. And here's a little tip that you guys can try. Next time you're going out for a walk outside, don't use your headphones. Don't listen to anything. Just be present. Be present in the moment. When you're walking around, start to notice things. Start to notice there's so much greenery, the grass, the leaves, there's just so much, there's such an abundance of trees. The sky is so abundant. There's so much blueness. Start to really tap your mind into that lens. So start to just pay attention and just look at the environment around you. Start to see everything around, and really things you wouldn't have noticed before will start to show too. And so you'll start to really see, like, wow, I never noticed that house over there. Oh my gosh, I never noticed this sort of like statue right here. So there's like things that will actually come to when you're in the present moment, but start getting into that lens of having more of that awareness, being present, and noticing all the abundance around you. And it can be that simple. Sometimes we make things so complicated, or at least I make things very complicated sometimes, and I'm just trying to understand it. But sometimes when you just take a step back and you're present and you're just in the moment to live your life, that's when things will be able to come in. You're able to get more clarity there. Sometimes like listening in the stillness and being in the quiet actually calls in what you are wanting, instead of trying to live in the mind, trying to figure it out. When you're in those moments, you're able to open up your capacity to expand and to really look into abundance in a different lens. And then you're training your brain and you're training your nervous system, you're training your body to start allowing more of those to come in and giving your body those cues. So then now your body and everything else will start to align to be like, oh, we've seen this before. We know this. Now we can have more of a mindset frame of allowing abundance in. And another tip you can do too, if for anyone who likes to journal, you can even do voice notes for this. I would start tracking things to you that make you feel abundant. For me, that is some of these little sign synchronicities. Sometimes this is finding these little books or finding little things along the way, or having actual big things that happen within my business, where sometimes I get a partnership or someone wants to get a reading, someone signs up for a gathering. It can be things that feel abundant to you. And so start writing these down week to week, because it'll start to get you in the frame and the mindset of really bringing this in. So just start writing it down week to week. You can do like my little abundance journal, or things that are proof that things are working, how to receive in, however you want it to look. Just start jotting these down. And then when you can go back and then you're starting to get in those mindsets of fear, scarcity, trying to understand, trying to grip, just struggling, go back to those, because you can reference those and you can actually show yourself, hey, well, actually this happened, this happened, this happened. Proof that this stuff is coming in and it's happening for you. When you're just having fun, just add more whimsy in. Like, this is stuff that can be easy. You can just have a little bit more whimsy, a little bit more magic, a little bit more things that can flow. It can actually be fun. It doesn't have to be such like a rigid thing. You can just pick little things and just wake up every day and just be like, I'm so excited for everything that's coming to me today. I'm so excited for the abundance of opportunities. I'm so excited for the abundance of people that I'm going to meet. all the life experiences I'm going to have, because that's the goal, is to have all these life experiences, to have a wide range of them. Abundance is there's so much out there. There is a ton. And so it's just more so getting yourself in that energy and in that mindset frame of having it come in. So this was just a little quick one today that I felt like I needed to run and tell you guys this, because I felt like it was just so much was coming out for this message. And so I want to hear, please reach out to me if you have your own little signs or synchronicities, or if anything has changed for you since listening to this recording. You can listen to this. Again, these messages transcend time and space. So anytime that you're tuning into this is exactly when you are meant to hear this message. I firmly believe that. And so if anything comes up for you as you're listening to this or afterwards, please reach out to me, because again, I live for a sign of synchronicity and I love hearing everyone else's little stories too. And so I'm sending you guys so much love, abundance, and joy today.